Alright, now we're going to load the 1860 Army. Fill up our spout, which throws about a 35 grain charge. Put in a wad. Put in a ball. Rotate the cylinder around. Ram it home. And it's just that easy. And to cap it, just cap it like that. Run it around. Do that 4 more times and we'll be loaded. Alright guys, now we're going to test the average velocity of the 1860 Army. $687. $730. Error. Let's say 888. $796. And 758. That low number of 680, probably just an anomaly with the Crony. I've shot this quite a bit through a Crony, and they're all between 750 and 800 feet per second. So that's going to be your standard velocity with the 1860 Army cap and ball with a .454 caliber ball and a 35 grain charge of 3F GoX. Alright guys, let's see how the Pietta 1860 Army stacks up against the other cap and ball revolvers that we've been testing out here against a 1 gallon water jug. Oh, that's interesting. I'm now taking 2 shots with the 1860 Army, and even though that 8-inch barrel affords it some more velocity than the Griswold, it doesn't want to seem to break the water jugs like the Griswold did. Interesting. Could be something to do with the water jug, could be something to do with the velocity. Who knows? Alright guys, now we're going to check out the accuracy of the Pietta 1860 Army. We have 6 rounds. We're at handgun distance. Check out the accuracy. Alright guys, as you can see, they're capable of excellent accuracy. Like I've always said, I got 3 right here in the bowl, 2 up here, 1 I pulled. So on this particular one, you have to aim about right here, and they're just superbly accurate guns. There's not much more fun you could have with $200 than with a cap and ball revolver. And like I've been saying in these videos, while the Piettas are not perfect as far as historical accuracy, they fit the bill until you're looking up close. And man, do they shoot nice. Alright guys, here we have the Pietta 1860 Army, freshly cleaned up. Shooting, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great review, but we have a few things we need to talk about, and any of you who are even thinking that you might buy a black powder revolver down the line, it would behoove you to stick around for this part of the conversation, because what I'm about to say is going to apply across the board, so it would behoove you to stick around. So one of the things I want to point out is this Pietta. You can get them a lot of times from Cabelas at like $219 a piece. So you guys need to keep that in mind. These things are mass produced at to me, it's an outrageously low price, 219 bucks. So bearing that in mind, the Piettas I see, in the forums and in my own experience, sometimes will have minor issues. So the issue that this Pietta had was, and this is the first Pietta where I've had this issue, but the barrel stud here, the dovetail in it was cut way too wide. And of course I didn't see it because I took it out of the box and went immediately to shooting it. And what happened was the barrel stud just took right off. It just come right out, and when I put it back in, I mean, you could put it in and out by hand. The dovetail was just cut way too wide, and not even, they press them in after they slide it into the dovetail, just like the front sights are pressed. But not even that was even close to it. So what I had to do was, I decided I wanted to fix it like a garage gunsmith or a hobbyist would fix it. I didn't want to fix it professionally, because you would have to take it and have somebody pay to do that. If I was to do it that way, I would have just welded it up and recut the dovetail. But like I said, I want to do garage hobbyist type stuff. So what I did was, since the metal was quite a ways away from where it needed to be, I took a punch and I worked all the metal over, and I put it back in, and I worked it over and over and over again until I got it real tight and real snug. And then of course it looked like crap, so I smoothed it up with a bunch of needle files, and then hopefully, if you can see here, if I can keep the ramrod out of the way, I used JB Weld, and you can probably see it right there. And I dyed the JB Weld black, and that was put over after I blued it and made it all pretty, just to cover some of the punch marks that couldn't be taken out by the file. So, standing even from here to my face, you can't see it. It matches the blued steel. I literally have to hold it right up to my face to be able to see it. And I've now put quite a few rounds through it since doing that modification, and it's held just fine. It's not going anywhere, and I was able to fix it without, if I needed to, or if I had to, without having to take it to a gunsmith. So, just bear that in mind. Now, the other thing to bear in mind about the Piettas is a lot of them come with a really cheap looking grip. The wood I found on them can always be given new life, we'll say. They all come looking very similar to this. Now, this is an old Army San Marco, but they all come looking very similar to this in terms of color, but they lack any of the sheen. I mean, they look like they were just cheaply stained with some kind of red finish, red stain that they just dip the grip into real quick and then send it on down the assembly line. There's hardly any buffing or anything done. It looks worse than this, and the only reason this is kept like that is because it looked nice, so I just kept it that way. And most Piettas are like that. So what I always do is I'll always strip the old stain off, and usually it comes right off, and I'll do a little bit of sanding, and then I'll stain it a nice walnut color, and then from there I'll put boiled linseed oil and then 100% beeswax. And that's also what I did with the Griswold. Now this one looked very, very ugly when it came in, and it's very acceptable in appearance now. So that's just a little thing that you can do if you're a hobbyist. It's a lot of fun to do it and kind of make it your own. If not, it doesn't really matter, because like I said, it's a $200 gun, and if you just bought it to shoot and enjoy, then that's it. So another one of the observations that I've made about the Pietta is it's heavier than the Ubertis. I don't have a Uberti on the table right now to show you, but we will be getting one later. But it is heavier and bulkier than the Ubertis. Again, we'll use the Army San Marco conversion here. Now this is an 1860 Army that was converted, as you can see. Here's the conversion plate and the ejector rod housing. So it was converted to fire 44 Colt, which was the original chambering. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a difference here. You can see, hopefully you can see, the barrel on the Piettas is bigger, thicker I should say, and you'll see the differences here at the hammer. Now this one, the hammer has been cut because the conversion plate holds the firing pin. This one, you can see the sight on it. But you see, here on the Piettas, they just have these horizontal cut striations for your finger to go to. And on the Colt had actual knurls on the hammer, and the Ubertis do have that. The Ubertis are correct. So anyway, weight difference, I would say it's at least an ounce between the Ubertis, which this is just what I have to show at the moment, but it's very close, between the Ubertis and the Pietta. So the other thing to keep in mind is that each one of these revolvers is its own animal. This particular one has always suffered from more cap jams than any of my other cap and ball revolvers. It was like that out of the box. So what I did was I bought the slick shot nipples, and that did away with about 80% of them. So it still jams up every now and again, but it's, like I said, it's way better than it was. It still doesn't shoot as good as this Griswold did with the slick shot nipples. I think I only had like one cap jam the entire review with the Griswold. But it made a huge difference. So just keep in mind, every gun's its own animal. So anyway, that being said, like I said, I'm going to have a Uberti come in instead of this conversion here, but we're just using this for gun porn. I'm going to have a Uberti come in, and we will do a review on that, and it's going to take the place of this Pietta. So, but anyway, like I said, all in all, it's a great gun. I can definitely recommend them. It's a very true, very close copy at that price point. They do have the extended screws, so you can put the shoulder stock in. Visually, it's a little off. Weight-wise, it's a little off. But for 200 bucks, it's really hard to go wrong. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all later.